will show you how to do data blending on Google Looker Studio. But first, for this lesson, I will tell you why, and I will show you some marketing use cases of why marketers need data blending. One common example, I will say the most popular one, is combining your ads data from Google and Facebook ads because you want to know your total conversions or your total ad spend, your total clicks, CTR, CPM, and so on. Another example is doing the same but with social media. You want to know for your different organic channels your total followers, your total reach, your total impressions and engagements across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and whatever. The other more advanced example, and I will ask you this, is calculating your cost per acquisition, because even though this metric is super common and everyone talks about it, it is very hard to calculate. And why it is hard to calculate? Because if you go to HubSpot, to Google Analytics, and to Facebook, the conversion data never matches. It is always different. So you need a source of truth, a single data source that you will trust as your reference for your conversions. So what some marketers do is, okay, I want to know my cost per acquisition by knowing my ad spend on Facebook, but combining it with the conversions registered on Google Analytics 4. That's another important use case for data blending on Google Looker Studio. Another example of data blending, and I will say it is the most important one, is asking you this. What is the difference between cross-channel and multi-channel marketing? I will explain it. Multi-channel marketing, this is Google, by the way. Multi-channel marketing is doing marketing in different channels, like multi-channel, right? Super common. So I do marketing on TikTok, on Google, on YouTube, on ChatGPT, on with PR. But those efforts are separate. But cross-channel is doing multiple channels, but with similar efforts, messages, and campaigns. So I will show you some examples of cross-channel, because cross-channel, as you can see, is more complex, is more unified, and reporting cross-channel is more complicated. For instance, this is a multi-channel marketing report because I am reporting multiple channels, but with separate data and separate efforts. I have a Facebook ad campaign, a TikTok campaign, a Google Ads campaign, but they are separate efforts. This is another example of separate efforts with social media. So I want to do reach on LinkedIn, I want to know reach on Facebook, and then reach on Instagram. They are different. They are different channels, but with separate efforts. They are not cohesively united in a single campaign. Now, I will tell you some examples of cross-channel reports that may apply to your business. For instance, your company has multiple brands, so you want to know how your brand is doing across all the platform channels. So you want to know for this specific brand, what is your reach on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Twitter, if you still use Twitter, by the way, and so on. What is your total ad spend, your total clicks, your total conversions for this brand B and this brand C. Another example for cross-channel is if you want to visualize your funnel, because some marketers break down their campaigns by funnel stage. I want to know how I'm performing my awareness campaigns, my consideration and conversion campaigns. But it is common that marketers don't do this only on Facebook. They use Facebook, they use Amazon, and they use Google. So this is another example where you want a single table where you can visualize every step of the funnel, but combining the data of all these data sources. Another example of cross-channel reports is you have multiple products, and this is very common. So you want to know how all your products are doing across all your channels. And if you have physical stores or retail stores, you want to know how your marketing is doing across all your stores, but combining all the data of your data sources. And with these examples, by understanding the use cases of data blending for marketing, understanding cross-channel reporting, understanding conversion data from Google Analytics to have a unique source of truth, this is the starting point for data blending on Google Looker Studio. Welcome to this lesson. Let's see how to blend your Facebook ads and Google Ads data on Google Looker Studio so you can create cross-channel PPC reports. And the first thing I will do is that I will go to Google Looker Studio, I will create a new report, and I will connect the data I want to blend. So for this Google Looker Studio report, I want to bring Google Ads and Facebook ads, but I could also bring Bing, TikTok, and so on. The next thing is that the tables should have data in common that I can combine. For metrics, I want to use similar metrics like clicks, ad spend, CTR, and so on. These are familiar and they are shared across every PPC platform. And also, I want to bring by dates because dates are universal. So that's our recommendation to blend your data in general. Always use dates to blend your data. Now, I will select these two tables and I will click on the option that says blend data. And by default, this will generate a new table with blended data, but this data is not correctly. I will drag and drop this new table underneath the original ones because it is overlapping my visualizations. Here, I will edit this blended data source. So I will go to the pencil icon, I will click on it, and I will do some changes. First, I will expand this model, and I will go to cross join. I want to change the join type of my data blended. So I will always, or most of the times, I will recommend you to use left outer join instead of cross join and other types of joins. So I will go to left outer join, and I will choose a date for Google Ads and a date dimension for Facebook. So for Google Ads, it is called day, or in Spanish is dia. And for Facebook, I will choose date. Now I am matching dates across Google and Facebook ads, and I will click on save. And now I will bring metrics, but first I will change the names of the metrics because I can get confused when creating formulas, because clicks represents Google and the same name applies for Facebook. So for Google, I will call it Google Ads clicks, and for Facebook, I will call it Facebook Ads clicks. But I will bring other metrics to this combination. So besides clicks, I want to bring impressions, and I also want to bring ad spend. So as you can see, I am changing the names of all these metrics, so their convention works and they are easier to understand. So I have for Google Ads clicks, impressions, and ad spend, and I will bring the equivalent metrics for Facebook. So I will bring Facebook clicks, Facebook impressions, and I will bring amount spent that represents the Facebook ad spend. So here I have my data, and I will click on save. I will have a blended data source that combines Google Ads and Facebook Ads, that joins the data by dates, and I will bring from both platforms clicks, impressions, and ad spend. So click on close. And now we have this table that, of course, is breaking. I will change the dimension to a valid one, and the valid one is called day or dia. And I will sort my data not by clicks but by dates, because I want to compare my new table with the original tables. I want to see that the data is matching correctly, and I think it will. So I will expand this table. I will change the dates I want to visualize, and I want to visualize, for instance, May to June, and I will click on apply. And for all the tables, I am displaying a similar date. Now, I have something. Here, I see that some of my data shows or displays null for Facebook clicks. I will change that. So, I will explain you why this is happening. It turns out that Facebook sometimes doesn't run ads. So, for Google Ads on January 1st, I had ads. But for Facebook, for that same date, I didn't run any ads. If on January 5th or 5th, I ran ads on Google, but not on Facebook, of course, my data will report zero, but zero is not the same as null. Null is no data at all. So there is something I need to check. Day or dia represents Google dates and not Facebook dates. That's why it is displaying null for some dates. In some dates where I run ads on Google, I didn't run ads on Facebook. So I will bring as well the Google Analytics or the Google Ads clicks as well. So I will drag and drop, and now I have my data for Google Ads. And as you can see in this table, by date, I have actual data from Google Ads. So here I have data from Google Ads, I have data for Facebook Ads, and now I will bring additional fields. Let's bring impressions or ad spend. So I will click on add a metric. I will choose Google Ad Spend. Now I can customize the size of these columns because I will be bringing more metrics, and I will bring as well the Facebook ad spend. So I have this table where I have Google Ads clicks and impressions, Google Ads clicks and ad spend, and Facebook Ads clicks and ad spend. What is the next step once I organize these columns? The next step is that I will create a field that combines this data from Google and Facebook. So I will click on add a field, and I will combine the ad spend from Google and Facebook. So I will create a formula, but I need something. I need to add a function that is called if null. I will explain why. If you want to operate 5 plus null, the answer is null. It is not 5 because null is not the same as 0. So to make your data accurate, you need to transform your null values into 0. And that's why we will use the if null function. So how it works? I will create a function that says If null, if the value is null for Facebook ad spend, comma, then turn the null value into a zero. That's the function. That's how it works. It is super simple. And now I will click on apply. And now I have my ad spend of Facebook represented not as null, but as zero. And I will do the same with another metric. So I will create a field and I will do the same. If null, Facebook clicks, I will turn it into zero. So if null values are here, then I will switch them to zero and apply. Now my data doesn't have null values, so I can operate the data and I can blend my data across these data sources. Now I will create a new field, and this field will be called total ad spend, for instance. And the total ad spend is the summatory of Google Ads ad spend plus the summatory of Facebook ads ad spend. I always recommend you to use the aggregation summatory to make your data always match. You will see why while you don't use it. When you don't use it, you will see that your data won't match. So my recommendation is to use it always. So here, the combination is summatory of Google Ads plus summatory of Facebook ads. Now I can click on apply. On apply, I can close this window. And now I have a data that a column that is displaying the total combination of my ads, but there is a problem. Some of my values still return zero or still return null, so my data is not correct. What I need to do is that I need to also bring the if null function to this formula. So I will go back to the formula, and in the summatory, within the summatory, I will apply the if null formula, and that's it. And with this, now we have calculated the total ad spend from Google and Facebook for a specific date automatically. Let's do something else. What about if we calculate the CPC or CPM or something else? Well, let's do something. So I will go and I will create a new field. And this new field, I will call it total clicks. And the total clicks, the formula works the same. It is just the summatory of Google Ads clicks plus the summatory of Facebook Ads clicks and apply. And again, I need to change or fix the null value. So I will go back to the formula and I will do the if null function for Facebook to replace the null with zero values. So here I have apply, and we are almost done. What else is missing? What about if I calculate my CPC? So create a new field, total CPC, and the formula is different because I need to divide ad spend by clicks, but I need to combine Google and Facebook ad spend divided by Google and Facebook clicks. So the formula is summatory of Google ads plus summatory of the null values turned to zero of Facebook divided by the respective clicks. Click on apply. And now we have calculated the total cost per click for Google Ads and Facebook Ads. And this is how you can blend your data on Google Looker Studio to create PPC cross-channel reports. Let's see you in a new tutorial. Let's see how to blend your Facebook and Instagram social media data on Google Looker Studio so you can create cross-channel social media reports. So I will start with this tutorial. And the first thing is that you will connect your social media data on a Google Looker Studio report. In this case, I'm connecting Instagram and Facebook data, but you can also bring Twitter, TikTok, and so on. The next thing that you want to make sure is to use the correct metrics. You want to display metrics that are shared across the social media tools, like shares, engagements, followers, and impressions. These metrics are shared on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and every social media platform. And also, as we are combining metrics, we will combine dimensions. And the recommendation for you is using dates because dates are universal. Dates work on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google Analytics, and so on. With this clear, now the next step is combining my data. So I will select the tables I want to combine, and I will do a right click. Next, I will go to blend data. And then with this blended data table, I will drag and drop it down underneath the original ones because this data is overlapping the original tables. Now I see my data blended in this table, but there is a problem. This shows that I have 1 million impressions for Facebook and for Instagram, so it doesn't make sense. I will change this data source by clicking on the pencil icon to edit this blended data source. Here on my blended data source, I want to expand this model to better visualize my join. And by default, Google Looker Studio is using a cross join to combine my data. I will change that. So I will go to cross join, and instead of cross join, I will choose a left outer join. I will choose left outer, and now I am required to use join keys. I need to bring the dates from Instagram and Facebook so we can match this data. First, I will start with Instagram. So I will choose profile date, and profile date represents Instagram dates. And in the field that shows missing, now I need to add Facebook. So here for Facebook, the dimension that represents the date for Facebook is called date. And now click on save. And again, click on save and click on close. So our table is already working correctly, and now I have blended my data, but I will pull or I will bring more metrics. So I will go and I will click on add a metric. And on add a metric, I will choose page total impressions that represent Facebook impressions. Here, I will change the sorting of my table because I want to display my data by date, not by impressions. And this will help me because I can visually identify if my original data from my original tables is working as well on the blended data table. So instead of impressions, I will choose profile date, and I will do something else. I know, because I know these data sources, that profile date belong to Instagram, but most people don't. So I will change the name of these fields, of these metrics. So again, I will go to edit this blended data source, and I will change the name of the Instagram metric to Instagram impressions. And for Facebook, I will change it to Facebook impressions, and I will click on save. Now my table is it's easier to read. Now, I have a column for Instagram impressions, a column for Facebook impressions. Now I will create a column that combines impressions from both platforms. So I will go to click on add a metric, then I will click on create a field, and now I will create this formula. So I will create a formula that combines the total impressions for Facebook and Instagram. To do this, I will aggregate my data by using the sum function. Remember, always when your data is not matching, I recommend you to use this formula. So I will do the summatory of Instagram plus the summatory of Facebook, and I will click on apply. And now we will have a table that will combine impression from both tools. But first, I will expand this table to visualize all the metrics. Here, I already have a table that is blending this data, that is combining, and it is doing everything fine. But I will do something else. The next thing I will do is that I will create a scorecard. So what I will do, or what I did here, is that I will drag and drop the field that I created on the canvas of Google Looker Studio, and it will create a scorecard by default. And I will create a comparison date range. So instead of none, I will choose previous period, and I will go to apply. And now I am comparing my data against last period, and I can see that in total for Facebook and Instagram, I have 11% more impressions. I am more visible. Now I will copy and paste this scorecard, and I will create a time series. So this time series, you only need to go to the top right corner of Google Looker Studio, and I will choose the chart type. And the chart type will be times series chart. Here for time series, I will hide the chart type selector, and now I can change the dimension that says invalid. I will change it for profile date, which is the date that we are using in common for this combination. Now I have a time series, but I will make it bigger. I have a time series that is showing me over time impressions for Facebook and Instagram. I will remove first the comparison from previous period to none, because for time series, they are not as useful. And I will click on apply. And now I have a time series with the total impressions of both platforms. What I will do for the same time series, I want to display separately Facebook and Instagram. So I will go with Instagram impressions, and instead of total impressions, I will do Facebook impressions. And that's it. We have a table that is combining my Instagram and Facebook impressions, a time series that is separating them, and a scorecard that is showing the total visibility of my social media efforts. This is how you can blend your social media data on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to blend your Facebook ads and GA4 data on Google Looker Studio so you can actually track your real cost per acquisition. And why you can do this? Because it happens that Facebook doesn't show the actual conversions. They always show different conversion data from Google Analytics. So what some marketers do, especially when they know Google Looker Studio and data blending, is that they create charts that combine the ad spend from Facebook, but with the conversion data from Google, and they can combine these metrics to have an actual and more accurate cost per acquisition metric. So I will show you how to do this. The first thing is that As always, you will create a Google Looker Studio report and you will connect the data sources that you want to bring to these tables. Generally, I will recommend for this exercise add platforms like Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, LinkedIn ads, and so on. So here I am connecting only Facebook and I am breaking down my data by campaign and I am bringing any metric. I can bring ad spend, clicks, impressions, and so on. But for this exercise, I will think that the most important metric is ad spend. Also, for Google Analytics, I am bringing the data from Google Ads because if you have connected Google Ads to GA4, the cost data is already reported here, the UTMs are already reported, the campaigns, and so on. So that's why I am not bringing the original data source of Google Ads here. Also, remember, Campaign is a dimension that GA4 has, and Campaign automatically reports your UTM parameters. So if you set up your UTM parameters correctly, Facebook campaigns should match the medium source and terms and all the UTM parameters as and show the same on GA4. So it is important that you are using UTM parameters correctly so the data from Facebook matches with the data on Google Analytics. Now here, I will select both tables. If you're familiar with Google Looker Studio and data blending, you will find this process familiar. So I will select both tables. I will do a right click and I will click on blend data. And on blend data, I will generate a blended data table and I will drop it down because it is overlapping my current data. Here, what I will do is I will bring the metric conversions from GA4. And here I will have that the data is not matching with the original data sources. What does this mean? The new table that I created is over-reporting data from the original table. So I know that I need to fix these joins, these blended data. So I will go to edit the data source and I will see how to do the things correctly. As you may know, by default, Google Looker Studio makes a cross join. And most of the times I will recommend you to use a different join, especially a left join, a left outer join. So here I will change the join type and I will choose, instead of cross join, I will do it with inner join. Why I'm doing this? In this case, what I want to do is, hey, I only want to have a table where the campaigns that are showing up are on Facebook and on Google Analytics. When I use left outer join is, okay, I have them on Google Analytics, and if I have them on Facebook, also show them. But I will show everything on Google Analytics. In this case, this one is more restrictive. I will only show values. I will show only campaigns that are in both and not only in one of the data sources. So that's why I am using an inner join. And still, I need a join key. I need a dimension that I need to match between these data sources. So for Facebook ads, I need to bring campaign name. And for Google ads, for Google Analytics, I will use campaign. In this case, I change the name of this dimension to GA4 campaign so you can differentiate for the tutorial. But yeah, this is the explanation of these types of joins. So this one is the more restrictive, and the columns or the campaigns that I will display here, they will display because they happen to show in both of the tables. Now here, I will click on save and I will click on save as well and close. Now the data is correctly blended. I am bringing only campaigns that both Facebook and GA4 are reporting. And now I have my ad spend and my conversions from GA4, ad spend from Facebook and conversions from GA4. Now, what I will do is I will create a formula, and this formula will be the following one. It will be CPA, and the CPA will be the summatory of the ad spend divided by the summatory of conversions. And here you can see that if I add a summary row, we'll have our actual cost per acquisition on Facebook ads by using the conversion data reported on GA4. I hope that you like this exercise and you will find it very useful, and that finally you can have a very calculated cost per acquisition for your marketing reports.